If you're living with fibromyalgia, you know that search for what works never really ends, right? Well, today we're going to build a practical toolkit. We've basically gathered up a ton of advice from other fiber warriors and put it all into one guide to help you figure out what might work for you. So let's dive in and open it up.
And this quote, it just nails the whole idea behind this. This is not a prescription, okay? Think of it more like a menu of different things you can try out. Because the author is super clear about this. Every single person's journey with fibro is different. What's a total game changer for one person might do absolutely nothing for you. So the key here is to just keep an open mind.
So we've organized this whole thing like a toolkit, It's got 5 different compartments, and inside each one, you'll find a bunch of strategies and hacks to help with all the different parts of living with fibromyalgia. The physical stuff, the mental stuff, and just the day-to-day practical challenges.
All right, let's get into it. Our first section is called Mind Your Body. And this is all about the physical things you can actually do to try and get a handle on the pain and discomfort.
Okay, so this slide is just the perfect example of that one-size-does-not-fit-all idea we were talking about. For the author, acupuncture is amazing. Even if it just guarantees 30 minutes of relaxation, that's a huge win, right? But then you have chiropractic care, something a friend of theirs swears by, and it actually made their pain worse. See? It's all about trial and error.
And now for some super practical, real-world advice on capsaicin cream. The author learned this stuff the hard way, so we don't have to. They actually tell a story about putting on 3 layers because they thought it wasn't working, and oh boy, did they feel the burn later. So seriously, if you try this stuff, remember the rules. Wear gloves and start with a tiny amount.
Okay, moving on to our second compartment in the toolkit. This one's called Fuel Your Fight, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's all about what you're putting into your body to help it in the fight against fibromyalgia symptoms.
You've just got to love the brutal honesty in this quote, right? Hate it, hate it, hate it. This is, for so many people, the hardest part. The author doesn't try to sugarcoat it at all. Giving up the foods we love is just tough. It's really hard, even when you know deep down it's what your body needs to feel better. So the author points out a few supplements that other people with fibro have found helpful. Things like vitamin D for that morning fatigue or magnesium for muscle support. But, and this is the most important part of the slide, look at that caution at the bottom. Always talk to your doctor before you start anything new. Seriously, that part is totally non-negotiable. You know, fibromyalgia isn't just a physical fight. It's so draining mentally and emotionally too. It just takes a huge toll on your spirit. And that brings us perfectly to our third section of the toolkit, Master Your Mindset. This is all about the tools you need for your mental and emotional well-being. And that same idea of trial and error applies to our minds too, right? Finding what actually helps you relax is such a personal journey. I mean, meditation might be heaven for one person, but for someone else, it just makes them more anxious. The key is just to play around and find your thing, that one thing that gives you a little escape, even if it's just for 5 minutes. So here are a few ideas for that mindset toolkit. Maybe it's a quick 5 or 10-minute guided relaxation track you find online. Or maybe it's aromatherapy, using a smell like lavender to calm you down. And this next one is huge, finding your ally, that one person you can just vent to who won't try to fix everything. And finally, for those moments when you're just stuck in a stressful situation, having a short, powerful mantra you can repeat to yourself can be a real game changer. All right, on to section 4. This compartment is called Live Smarter, Not Harder. And I love this one. It's all about those practical, everyday life hacks, the small changes that can make a massive, massive difference in your energy and your symptoms. This chart right here explains one of the most important concepts for anyone with fibro, budgeting your energy. Think about it like a gas tank or even a bank account. A healthy person might start the week with 100% energy, but if you have fibro, you're often starting at like 50%. And it's just like money. If you blow your whole budget on Monday, you are going to be running on fumes for the rest of the week. So why is it so important to actually do things you enjoy? Well, it all comes down to this one little chemical, dopamine. I love this simple definition. It's the stuff in your brain that makes you feel happy. But here's the kicker, the amazing bonus. It also helps block pain signals. So that hobby you love, it's not a luxury. It's literally a form of pain management. How cool is that? Okay, this next one sounds so simple, but it is so, so important. Quality sleep. That is when your body does all its repair work. And what's one of the biggest things that wrecks our sleep? Yep, our phones.
That blue light literally tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime. So the rule is simple, but it's powerful. Unplug before you even get into bed.
All right, we're at our final section, our last compartment. And honestly, this one might just be the most powerful tool in the entire kit. It's all about becoming your own best advocate. This is where you learn to take control and really empower yourself on this journey. The author tells this story that is just unbelievable. They went to a neurologist, a nerve specialist, who told them that fibromyalgia was made up. Can you even imagine? It's so infuriating, and sadly, it's a reality for way too many people. And that's exactly why this point is so critical. You have to find a doctor who actually listens to you, who believes you, and who takes your experience seriously. And let's just sit with this quote for a second, because this is such a powerful way to reframe things. We're often taught that asking for help is a sign of weakness, but it's not. It's the exact opposite. It's a sign that you are strong enough and self-aware enough to know your limits. It shows you're smart enough to use your support system.
So there you have it. We've gone through the whole toolkit. The physical stuff, the mindset strategies, the everyday hacks. The whole point here isn't to go out and do everything all at once. That would be overwhelming, right? No, the point is to just take one small step. So, looking back at everything we've talked about, what's the first tool you think you'll try?